Guys, was I not just saying that I was waiting for somebody black to jump on this band Joe Rogan thing, whether it's a rapper, whether it's an R&B singer, whether it's anybody, any black outspoken personality or high profile personality, I was waiting for it. And not even a day later, here we go. We have one Miss, what's her name? Nicole Hannah Jones. We have Nicole Hannah Jones. She is a New York Times journalist. She is the producer of the 1619 Project. And she's saying that Joe Rogan is guilty of open racism. And something has to be done about it. How long, she says, how long are we going to tolerate this? Okay, in this article I just saw, it's in the Daily Wire. And I want to share it with you guys because just like I said in the other video, I have some questions for Miss Jones to level to her about why she feels the urgency to jump on the banned Joe Rogan dog pile, but for some reason she doesn't feel the urgency to talk about the culture of death that black people have been raised in for generations. I don't understand, that is pop culture that she's part of. Admittedly, she says she is. So let's get into this, guys. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. And here's another one for YouTube to shadow ban. We have one from the Daily Wire. And it says here, let's read the headline, shall we? 1619 Project founder says Joe Rogan is guilty of open racism. And it says here, New York Times journalist and 1619 Project founder Nicole Hannah Jones accused podcaster Joe Rogan of open racism. He's guilty. The host of the Joe Rogan Experience came under fire from the left after hosting prestigious scientist I can't even say this guy's name. Is it safe to say his name? I think saying these guys' names is what ultimately gets you censored. But it's the guy's name, Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Robert Malone, who challenged the mainstream narrative on COVID-19. Progressive celebrities and commentators are attempting to censor Rogan by pressuring Spotify to sever its relationship with him. Now, there has been a question about whether this is indeed an attempt to censor. Of course, you got Neil Young saying it's not about censorship. Well, what is it? When you try to stop someone from doing what it is that they do based on the messages that you seem to be getting from their show, that censorship to me is thought control is what it is. And you guys know Pink Floyd told us a long time ago, we don't need no thought control. You know what I mean? Leave them kids alone. They were on to something a long time ago. We should have listened. Now it says here, Nicole Hannah Jones, the journalist who won a Pulitzer Prize for censoring American history upon the African slave trade, joined a throng on Sunday evening. In a since-deleted tweet, Hannah Jones said Joe Rogan's audience does not mind his open racism. And of course, she doesn't give any examples of what that open racism is, but these days we don't need that, do we? We just need people to just pop off and run off at the mouth however they feel like it, and nobody calls them for misinformation or anything like that. It only goes one way. You guys know, I've said it a million times. Joe Rogan is what he is. We in the media, okay? She says. We in the media might want to spend more time thinking about why so many people trust him instead of us, New York Times reporter Matthew Rosenberg wrote on Twitter. Okay, Matthew Rosenberg wrote that, not Hannah Jones. With respect, I don't get this, she replied. We need to understand why millions of Americans don't mind the open racism. It's not a mystery. Been reporting on it for years. So what do we do with that? She's been reporting on it for years. Okay. And this is what she does, guys. She's into this. She's into pointing people out as racist. You know what I mean? She's like that dog, that pointer, She's she points to somebody who's whenever she sees it, So that's what she is. I'm sure she's a good racist hunting animal. Oh, okay, that's probably offensive, but fuck that, guys. I only have like 8,000, little over 8,000 subs. You know what I mean? So cancel me. I don't care. So anyway, like I said before, so here she is, all right, and she's making a lot of noise on this, and she's wondering what it is. And like I said before on the other video, I just find it to be disgustingly hypocritical for a black person to jump on this dog pile knowing that, because at the heart of this is so-called medical misinformation that is so-called leading to the death of more people. When I pointed out many times about the number of black children who are dying out here in these streets, just children now, never mind everybody else, but just children, far outweigh the amount of children who are dying from COVID. And you don't hear anything about that. Like the factors that lead up to that, you don't hear anything. And like I said before, I don't expect that. I don't expect anyone to be censored. So when it comes to pop culture, when it comes to the movies that are pushed onto the black community, remember in the 70s, they called them blaxploitation because it exploits the conditions that are in these hoods out here. So when you look at the music, when you look at the movies, when you look at just about everything that is marketed towards black people, including our political views, how the left tells blacks and they're heavily invested in the idea that black people are victims. You heard Joe Biden himself. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You saw Hillary Clinton. Oh yeah, I carry hot sauce in my bag wherever I go. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what it is. So they're heavily invested in the victimization of the black community, and they push that onto us. So we can never, ever achieve the self-esteem that it takes to lift ourselves out of these conditions. No, we're just supposed to be dependent on them all the time. But you won't hear her talking about this. You won't hear any of them talking about this. And this is the reason why I think that it's hilarious that any black person would jump into this, without cleaning up your own home. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. If you live in a filthy ass house, how are you going to turn around and point out anybody else outside of your own home? You got to fix your own first, bruh, sis, whatever. That's just the way it works. So guys, I just wanted to point that out because like I said, I was waiting for it. I'm sure she's not going to be the only one talking about how Joe Rogan is guilty of open racism without giving any examples. Keep in mind, guys, I saw the clip where he's using the N-word all over the place and all that stuff out of context. I assume there was a larger context to it. Anybody who's intelligent would. But I don't see him at rallies calling for the death of black people. I don't see him, not hiring black people. I don't see any of that stuff. That's what racism is. He doesn't have to like black people. He doesn't have to love black people. Okay. The only thing that makes you a racist is when you are stopping someone from livelihood, from getting employment, from living, based upon the color of their skin, based upon their race. That's the way that works. Okay, so I don't know what she's talking about, especially since she doesn't give any examples. But listen, guys, I just wanted to point that out there. The incredible hypocrisy of Hannah Jones. All right, what's her full name again? Nicole Hannah Jones. Keep in mind, this is also the person who tweeted out that, wait, where is it? 'Cause it's here somewhere. I pointed this out on the video about Kyle Rittenhouse. She's also the person who said that in this country, you can even kill white people and get away with it if those white people are fighting for black lives. You know what I mean? Keeping in mind that the guys that Kyle Rittenhouse shot, number one, it was self-defense. And number two, one of them was guilty of, abuse, a woman, he was a woman beater or, they were both criminals, you know what I mean? But because it suits her narrative, that's the way she wanted to twist it. So anyway, guys, it's just ridiculous, but you can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this. If any of you out there, I'll be fair about it. If any of you out there have some examples, some clear examples of Joe Rogan's open racism, please share it in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, guys, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Catch me on Twitter, catch me on Odyssey, catch me on Rumble. I'm all over the place, guys. Thank you for listening. Catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.